What's in the cards for you today? And I'm going to make sure that I am live in all of the places. I have been having fun this past weekend. My voice might sound a little off with all of my travels and all of my adventures. I ended up getting a little under the weather. Okay. So I think I'm going to be live. I'm so excited as you hop on. Give me a quick hello. Let me know where you're watching from. All right. I think I am live in all the places. So let's just tune in and ask what's the most important thing you need to know for this week ahead. Placing your hand on your heart and taking a deep breath. You're going to ask what's most important that you need to know going into the week. Ace of Pentacles. It's the beginning of something new. This is an exciting card because it is a gift of abundance and prosperity coming your way. So check your mail, look at all the envelopes. Even if it looks like a bill, it might be some kind of check coming to you, maybe some kind of return that you're getting. I love this card because it's also the promise of where you are planting your energy, your time, and your focus. Now is the opportunity to really choose maybe I'll use the word wisely, but it's a mindfulness. It's that ability to say, I'm ready to go in the direction of my heart. I'm ready to grow and pour time and energy into those things that sit really well with my soul. So I'm excited for this week ahead. And hopefully my voice will stay with me. Ah, holy cannoli. All right. So, hey, if we haven't met yet, my name is Irena Miller. I am an energy alchemist, a spiritual life guide, and astrologer. And it is my joy to bring the sacred practices and techniques and tools to you that enable you to harness the energy that's all around you, especially the energy of the moon, because the moon helps us in times of stress, in times of overwhelm. It helps us handle those big emotions. So when we say do your moon, it's that ability to ride the wave of the energy and make the most of the time so that you can step into the life you were born to live. Hello, Shannon, watching from Asheville, North Carolina. I love Asheville. Oh my gosh, so incredibly gorgeous. Land of waterfalls. Had a lot of fun hiking there many a moon ago, and my son was super little, like over 20 years ago, and then not so long, most recently. Very, very dog friendly. So thanks for jumping on. Okay, let's talk about the overarching energy of this week. One of the things that I always take note of is the phase of the moon, because the general phase of the moon is going to give you a heads up of the overall energy of the week. So we are working towards a new moon, a very wonderful, special new moon coming up on Monday, September 2nd. And as a result, the moon is lessening in its light. And so as it gets dimmer and dimmer, you might find as well that you are also kind of winding down in energy. Now, is that always the case? No. Is it always the case for everyone? Not necessarily. But overall, generally speaking, the energy of the cosmos of Mother Nature is encouraging us start to slow down. The days are waning as well. So the light is lessening as we move towards the solstice. For us in the Northern Hemisphere, as we're moving towards winter. And we're being encouraged to celebrate the harvest. This is a week that can be used for really letting go. Whenever you're in a waning phase, waning gibbous, waning crescent, like we have this week, it's an encouragement that basically says if you want to start something new, as we tend to do with new moons, you plant a new idea, you set a new intention, you begin work on a new project. Well, you really set the intention to begin the work. If you have your plate already full, if there's already a mess, if there's already tons of things going on, there's really not the time, the space, or the energy to pour into the new dream, the new thought, the new project, the new idea. So you are encouraged during the waning phase. What is most beneficial for you to release and let go of so that you'll be ready to start the new chapter on Monday, ready for the next part of the adventure? You might find that you want to go through closets. Maybe you're at a point in a place somewhere on the globe, here in the Northern Hemisphere, where it's starting to get chilly. And you're like, I'm going to bring my fall clothes out. Or maybe I'm going to go through my summer clothes and decide what no longer serves me and kind of get ready to donate them or to share them with someone else before packing them away for the winter. This is a time of saying, what projects have I been working on? Over the summer, I'm getting ready to go into the new school year. What am I looking to develop as we're working towards the holidays? How do I want to schedule my time so I don't feel exhausted and overwhelmed and overburdened? So the waning phase, I encourage you take that point to reflect. And I'm feeling called to pull a card on that and just ask, to give you a clue, because sometimes we may not even know where to start. Sometimes, like this weekend, our refrigerator died, our dishwasher died. I ended up catching this crazy kind of like cold, coughing cold. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like the trifecta storm, like if something will go wrong, you got all sorts of crazy things going on. It's all good. It was an adventure. And anyway, but what ends up happening is everything got so overwhelming and so messy in our kitchen. It was like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to go. So it might feel messy for you right now. It might feel like, well, that's great, Irena. You say to let go, but I've got a bajillion different areas that are needing my attention. How do I know which one is most important for me to focus on right now? Nine of Wands. So this is the area that you feel like you've been struggling on, where it feels like it's never ending. You're going to be encouraged to tackle that area first. It's always nice to get a small win, right? So if there's an easy task at hand, just to get a small win, that boosts our spirits. You can always do that. But go for the big fish, so to speak. Go for the big item, the big project that has been weighing on you. It's kind of like there's an energetic cost that comes to physical things. If you walk by a room that's messy, like it's still stuffed with things. My son also moved out. That's, I think, why I ended up getting a little under the weather. We drove 18 hours a weekendish ago. It's hard to believe. And I helped move him into his new place. And he still has a lot of things here too, right? And so it's like, how can we make space and make room? Because every time we walk by a room or a garage or an area, even our desk, and it's filled with old projects, old things that aren't quite completed, there's an energetic cost that drags you down. Even simply getting piles up off the floor onto something higher psychologically can help improve your spirits. So this is saying you've got it. Don't give up on that bigger project. You have what it takes. And if we look at the moon this week with each day, let's talk about how the moon can support you as you move forward. Hi, Julie. So great to have you. Welcome, welcome. So today, Monday, the phase of moon today is actually in the last quarter. And last quarter, I really love to use this moon here on Monday, last quarter moon, for healing our hearts. The other thing that's very hard to do in an emotional and even mental state to move forward on a new project is if we're hung up on the hurts and the pains from the past. Like, I tried this once before and it failed. It didn't work. Or I was burned by so-and-so, or I was let down by the people in my world. It holds us back from moving forward and really achieving the life you were destined for. I encourage you today to examine your heart. And if there is a feeling, a memory, an emotion, an experience that is holding you back from moving forward, a pain, a hurt from the past, take time to heal that today. And I always go to the Ho'oponopono sacred practice from the Hawaiian traditions, where you can say this to the person who maybe you feel you've wronged. You can say this on behalf of yourself if you feel like you've made a decision or a choice in the past that has led you to an undesirable outcome. You know that you made the best decision that you could at that moment in time with the information you had on hand. We're doing our best in each moment. And sometimes there's, unusual circumstances that make it a little more challenging. So take time to heal. And the Ho'oponopono practice goes like this. It goes, I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you can say it as many times as you like. And you could even say it for yourself in order to hear it, because let's say someone's wronged you and you're waiting for that I'm sorry, you're waiting for that apology, but it's just not coming. say it to yourself, like, I'm sorry you had to go through that. I love you. I'm looking out for you. It's going to be okay. Knowing that you have friends in high places too looking out for you. And Shannon, you say you love that practice. I do too. I don't know if you guys can feel even just a subtle energy shift. Wow, I'm all goosebumps. It's a very, very powerful practice. So, Monday, healing practice with last quarter moon. The moon is in Gemini. And with a Gemini moon, the mind might be hopping, right? It might be a bit like monkey mind, the yogis call it, from one topic to the next. So, as far as, let's say, that cleanup I was talking about, that letting go to get ready for the new moon coming up, you might find yourself like the pig in the pancake story. If you give a mouse a cookie, do you guys know that book? Have you ever read any of that series? It's like, the little pig wants a pancake. So she decides, oh, I'm going to make pancakes, but I don't have maple syrup. Oh, so I'm going to go out to the store and buy maple syrup. And then she goes out to the store to buy maple syrup. And she sees a friend and realizes, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's have a tea party. And so she comes back home and realizes she doesn't have any place to host her friends. So she's going to build a tree house, but she needs lumber. Oh my gosh, right? That's not exactly the way the story goes. But it's one thing to win next. I would encourage you today, you could either give yourself a set amount of time of boundaries to explore potentials of what you want to do. Otherwise, you might get lost in the details. You might get distracted easily. Create healthy boundaries for yourself. Like, okay, I'm going to give myself a half an hour to go through the junk drawer, or I'm going to give myself an hour to kind of look over the messy space or room and decide, not do, but decide what I'm going to do. Do I have to ask any questions? Like, maybe I've got large pieces of furniture and I'm going to figure out, do I want to donate them? Do I want to put them on Facebook Marketplace? All these things, all these questions. And I'm going to pull a card. How can you make the most of Monday's energy? Ten of Pentacles. Enjoy yourself. So 10 of Pentacles is a fullness of joyfulness with your family. This I think of as like the fat cat card. It's starting out the week with prosperity and an end in abundance mindset. It's that idea that when you let things go, you're welcoming more opportunity for joy and fun and play into your life. Sometimes the physical items can create a lot of burden, we become trapped by them. So just noticing the energetic cost of the items around you. Okay, so Tuesday moon's still in Gemini, so we're still in that curious, investigative phase. And I'm going to start off by pulling a card. What's most important that you know about Tuesday's energy? So 10 of Swords. So this is that encouragement. It's okay to walk away. The energy of the old is already on its way out, and you are heading towards the light on the horizon. So when I ask for an example, this is kind of funny. Have you ever been in that situation where you've seen an incredible sale on a clothing item, or let's say a cool gadget, and you're like, oh, this is such a great deal, and I always wanted this, or this will be good to have for this event, or maybe one day I'll make ice cream. I got that ice cream maker. I haven't quite used it yet. And you look at it and the price tag, is still on it. And you feel guilty and you're like, I bought this a year ago, or I bought this 5 years ago and I still haven't used it. And it's that feeling of like, oh, how in the world could I have done that? So this is saying it's okay. Allow it to be a gift to someone else. Release it, let go. You're already walking towards the horizon. Don't let any shame or self-doubt or beating yourself up hold you back from walking towards that light on the horizon. It's going to be okay. The hardest part is over. I'm giggling because I'm thinking this weekend was really crazy. Like, okay, I'm glad the hardest part's over. I'm ready for that. That was crazy. Okay, so Wednesday, the moon has moved into the energy of Cancer and Mercury goes direct. Hallelujah. Holy cannoli. This Mercury direct has been an interesting one. Hannah, hello from Europe. Great to have you. Perfect timing. So Wednesday, as the moon moves into Cancer, what do you need to know? Oh, holy cannoli. This card. Oh, I always giggle, right? I had a tarot teacher once, many a moon ago, and she did a class, and she said the good boys and the bad boys of the tarot deck kind of thing. And sometimes when people read tarot cards or they've had their cards read for them, I guess maybe it's more from the perspective of people having cards being read for them. They might be concerned that there's good cards and bad cards. And it's not really like that. It's just like this is the energy that's present. It can either have a high vibrational effect or it can have a low vibrational effect. It depends on how we want to engage with it. So, for example, this card, this is the Devil card, and this is a card where it's nothing outside of ourselves that's hurting us. It's no external force or voice, trying to coerce us. This is where we're doing things that aren't in our highest and best interest. So maybe we're procrastinating, or maybe we are staying up too late, or we're eating the food that's not helping us on our healing process. Let's say you're in that process of letting go, you're cleaning out your closets, and you get sentimental about things, and you're like, oh, I can't let this go. And this is funny. My husband was sharing, he saw this post, and maybe you guys know the Marie Kondo technique, where you hold an item and you're like, does this bring me joy? Does this spark joy within me? And if it doesn't spark joy, then it's like, okay, I'm going to bless it, release it, and let it go so it can bless someone else's life. And someone had posted and they're like, it didn't work for them, right? They couldn't figure it out. It wasn't that black and white. And so they said that they had been encouraged, holy cannoli, that if the item was covered in poop, holy cannoli, would you be willing to clean it off and keep it? And I thought, oh my gosh, that's another way of thinking of it, right? If the item was covered in something unsavory, would you be willing to clean it and keep it? Oh my gosh. And there are different ways to do this. But the Devil card would be like where you might say, oh no, I won't let this go. I'll use it one day. Really, it'll come in handy. Or this is a card where we're fooling ourselves, where deep down we really know that if we stay up too late, we're not going to feel well in the morning. Where we know if I eat this food, I won't feel well later on. This is just saying make mindful choices. You can feel light and free at any time. Just be mindful of the temptations that are around, that are easy to fall into when we're tired or we're overwhelmed. So as a result, like kind of leading into Wednesday, knowing that it's a Cancer moon, and Cancer is about emotions. Let's talk about doing a Cancer moon. Like, what does it mean to do a moon or do your moon so that you don't feel overwhelmed by the stress? Cancer is about nurturing your heart and your feelings. I would honor the feelings that come up. And whenever we let go of things, it stirs up emotions and feelings, maybe memories of the past. Maybe it was like children's clothing, and you're like, oh, I remember my mom bought my kids these clothes. And oh, to let this go also means letting her go. My mom's up in heaven, and I still have some little baby things to let go of Lexi's, or little kid things. And, those memories, I'm part of the reason I'm holding on to them is because they remind me of my mom. And it's kind of like one of the final things I have from her before she transitioned to heaven. We look at this and we say, how can I nurture my heart and feelings going into this day? What can I do to make the day easier? Wear comfy clothes. Make sure you have healthy meals planned for Wednesday so you don't end up overeating the chocolate. Maybe you say, okay, as a reward after going through and doing the sorting and the cleaning, I'm going to make sure I have time in the evening for a nice bubble bath, or to watch a favorite movie, or to just do some self-care, rub some lotion on my feet or listen to some really nice music. Nurture your feelings on Wednesday. Set some time aside for that, and you'll find that you won't be falling into the old habits that hurt you quite as easily. Okay, so Thursday, moon's still in Cancer, and we're going to just tune in and ask, what's most important that you need to know about Thursday? Six of Swords. Where you go, there you are. So even though, so this is a perfect example about kind of bringing things with you. We might feel like it's the job, it's the clothes, it's the shoes, it's the people that are making life difficult, that are creating the struggle. And we're like, if I just had a new job, if I had a different boss, if I just lived in a different neighborhood, if I had a different partner, if my body was fitter, all these different things, if I had a stylist, we think things will get better. And so we go after that. We get the new job, we move places, but we bring our thoughts, our beliefs, our attitudes with us. We bring all the things. She's got luggage in the boat here with us. And when we end up in the new place, we find out, wait a second, this boss is just like the old one. This partner I'm dating is treating me the same way. What? We end up figuring out, oh, I moved to this new place, but even though it's bigger, I still feel cramped and overwhelmed. This is saying, be mindful of what you're bringing with you, specifically the thoughts. The swords represents the element of air and the mind. What thoughts, what beliefs are you holding on to around the things? Or it could even be a little bit intangible, whatever would inhibit you from moving forward with a new project coming up on Monday, something that's been in your heart, whatever in the last quarter of this year, you're like, okay, that last quarter, this is going to be my focus. If you have all these other distractions, you won't be able to achieve your goals well. And speaking of which, everyone who's in the Moon Club, this Thursday, we have our monthly moon planning session for September. So we look at the month ahead and all of the important dates, especially the eclipses coming up. We have eclipses being kicked off in September. So want to pay attention to that. Holy cannoli. All right. So if you're interested in the monthly moon planning section, check out the Moon Club, irenamiller.co/club. Get in on latest and greatest. Okay. So moving on, Friday, moon starts off in Cancer, and then right after lunch for us on the East Coast, about 1:48 p.m. Eastern, it moves into Leo. So you're going to start off in that very intuitive, sensitive state, tuned into your emotions before getting into the playfulness. And that's nice to be able to move into a Leo moon on a Friday night because you might want to go out and doll up. Zhuzh your hair, get it all. Maybe, you go out and you're like, I'm going to celebrate this week. I'm going to take a sip of water. As I can feel a cough coming on. Excuse me. But Friday, have something fun planned in the evening to celebrate all of your work this week. I'm going to ask, how can you make the most of Friday's energy? Queen of Pentacles, this is enjoying yourself. Look at her. She's sitting here. She's at ease. She's relaxed. She feels comfortable. I'm going to encourage you to really take some time to take stock and see how far you've come. You might even discover that there are things that you had decided to sell this week, and you've gotten some nice money back from them. And she's just enjoying. She's enjoying herself in the beautiful queendom she's created. Holy cannoli. All right, Saturday and Sunday, the moon is in Leo. So we are going to just tune in and ask what's the most important thing you need to know about Leo moon on Saturday. Four of Pentacles. So Four of Pentacles is like, I'm not going to let this one go. She's still holding on tightly. So Saturday, after the fun and celebrating of Friday night, you might find that there's still some things you want to hold on to, and that's okay. You might be saving them for a rainy day, but ask yourself, is a holding on to them helping you or hurting you? Because sometimes, what's that old phrase? Like penny wise, pound foolish, something along those lines. Right? Like we pinch our pennies, but then we get silly with the pounds, so to speak. All right. So Sunday, the moon does start off in Leo. Excuse me. Here's that cough kicking in. And then late in the evening, it moves to Virgo. Most of us will be sleeping. And for my friends across the pond, it'll already be Monday when the moon moves into Virgo. So we just ask, how can you make the most of Sunday's Leo moon? Seven of Pentacles. So this is saying nurture the projects that you've been working on, what you cleared this week, what you let go of, what you're making room and space for. Know that you're going to have the energy to do it. I would encourage you on Sunday to reflect back on, okay, I let go of these things. I let go of these things with the intention to get ready for this new moon coming up. And with that energy, with that new moon energy, you're going to be able to continue to have the energy to pour into those projects that can help carry you through the end of the year to reach your goals. All right. So thank you all so much for coming, for playing with me this morning. Thanks for putting up my crazy voice. I hope you were able to understand me. We're going to just wrap with the sacred practices that I want to share with you that can help you if you're feeling frustrated this week and you're really just looking for that creative breakthrough. Part of it has to do with letting go of things. When people use that phrase, do less to do more? I really feel, especially after going through so much this weekend, kind of cleaning out the refrigerator and figuring out some of the old things we've been holding on to that I was like, oh, I'm going to use that. I'll make a pie or a jam. And realizing, oh, I just haven't had time for that. What you're doing is you're saying, how much have these projects been energetically costing me that I've been holding on to, or these physical items saying, one day I'll get to them, one day I'll do it. But we're just holding them and holding them. What ends up happening is that the creativity starts to dissipate. And there's a beautiful story that Elizabeth Gilbert shares. And I don't know if she shares it in her book, Big Magic, or if it was definitely wasn't Eat, Pray, Love. But she talks about the creative muse. And she speaks to how she had an incredible idea from a book. For a book. It just landed with her, as creative ideas do. And I love that story that all of us can tune into these creative ideas that are floating right above our head and we can channel them. But what ends up happening is that sometimes we channel these ideas, we catch them, but we don't have time for them right now. And we hold on to them and we hold on to them. And these ideas really want to be birthed into physical reality. So rather than holding on to them so tightly, if we can release them back out and allow them to come through someone else and their voice, then incredible things happen. And Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this, how she had an idea for a book. She released it, so to speak, and her friend ended up catching the idea. She didn't share it with her verbally, but her friend had the same idea and wrote a very similar story as to what Elizabeth was going to write. And the story was able to be birthed. It was able to come into physical reality. We can't create all the things at once, and we can only keep so many things on the shelf before they start to go stale. So what I'm going to encourage you to do to help have that unshakable trust and belief that ideas will come to you that are important for you to channel through as the medium to bring them into reality is to do this hand gesture where you interlace the fingers right at the first knuckle and you gently bring the thumbs up and you place the hands over the heart. And this is called Vajrapratma Mudra. And it's a little thunderbolt mudra. You place the hands over your heart and you take 5 deep breaths. And what this hand gesture does is it helps you reconnect with your heart. That belief in yourself, the ideas that are planted there, the ideas that really are meant to come through, you will. And if something feels like it's got that expiration date and that you need to release it before it totally expires, let someone else be able to be blessed from it as you were blessed. It's okay to release it. And thank you so much for joining me today. Have an incredible, incredible week, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, guys.